The school board director's daughter and the school beauty made a bet, betting on who could successfully conquer a poor student like me. They began to pretend to be deeply in love, and launched a massive pursuit of me. Wait until I completely fall for it. When offering my first kiss in true heart, they cruelly revealed the truth. Except for you, the whole school knows about this strategy live stream. A country bumpkin. Really think that rich ladies would fall in love with you? I was like a drowning dog, subjected to the mockery and ostracism of all the teachers and students in the school. In a mental haze, I accidentally fell into the water and died tragically. Opening my eyes again, I returned to the day the strategy live stream began. After school, I was blocked at the corner of the stairs. The school board director's daughter, Lu Rian, raised her chin and sized me up, with a playful look in her eyes, saying, "Top student, I heard you got first place in the grade again on this monthly exam. Help me tutor." Lu Rian is the only daughter of the Lu family in the capital. Grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth since childhood. As the largest sponsor of Ineos Noble Academy, the Lu family is thriving in the business world. Going up 2 generations, there's even a bit of a political background. In my previous life, Lu Rian wanted me to help her cheat on the monthly exam. I refused. Later she scored a 2-digit total score. Got a scolding from Mother Lu. Lu Rian blamed all this on me. So Lu Rian came up with a prank. She and her good sister, the school beauty Bai Ningbing, made a bet. Who can take down this poor student of mine first? Bai Ningbing got the school surveillance authority, broadcasting this strategy live on the campus forum the whole time. To increase the fun, Lu Rian even started a school-wide betting pool, betting on the time I would offer my first kiss to one of them. In the end, all the tips from this live stream will go to the person who guessed the most accurately. The favored daughter of heaven, the school board director's daughter Lu Rian, the cold and beautiful school beauty Bai Ningbing, plus a huge tip reward. This live stream blew up Ineos Academy. I was after all an inexperienced high school boy. How could I resist 2 rich young ladies with their massive romantic pursuit? After I agreed to Bai Ningbing's confession, Lu Rian, who lost the bet, was furious. She cruelly revealed the truth to me. Didn't expect it, right? Not only is this a love strategy, but it's also live streamed the whole time. Still calling yourself a top student. Looks like you're a narcissist. You wouldn't really think we would like a country bumpkin like you from the rural areas, right? From then on, I became the biggest joke in the whole school. In their eyes, my early cold rejection was a lack of romantic understanding. My softening attitude in the middle stage was putting on airs. My infatuation in the later stage was self-degradation, wishful thinking. Everyone laughed at my foolish and ugly behavior. My grades plummeted. On the final exam, I directly dropped out of the top 50 in the grade. My scholarship was cancelled, and my family fell into debt because of this. On their way out to work to raise my tuition, my parents died in a car accident. After repeated blows, in a mental haze, I slipped and fell into the pool, silently drowning in the winter of my sophomore year. Afterward, the school attributed my death to study pressure. Find themselves a cup and lightly covered it up. Lu Rian was stimulated and sent abroad. Later, she always lived in a drunken stupor, with a constant stream of boyfriends beside her. Just heard that. The eyebrows and eyes of each of her boyfriends all resembled mine a bit, while Bai Ningbing inherited the company after becoming an adult. Because of multiple donations to poor mountainous areas, she became a well-known female philanthropist entrepreneur. She eventually married a first-generation rich man from a rural background. At the wedding, she gently gazed at the groom, saying, he made her find the feeling she had when she was with her little childhood sweetheart. That kind of first love feeling. Fan Yuan, are you listening to me? Lu Rian reached out and waved her hand in front of my eyes. Her bright almond eyes seemed to be able to see through people's hearts. When staring at people, she easily reminded one of a female leopard. I know the strategy live stream has already begun. The bullet screen on the campus forum is flying fast. What kind of dogshit luck did the top student run into? The school board director's daughter and the school beauty pursuing him together. I bet a week's allowance. This time the school beauty wins the hunt completely. Who can reject the cold goddess? Then I'll bet on that unruly little princess of the Lu family. Bro just likes Sundaras. Lu Rian took a deep breath, repeated patiently. I said I came this time to give you a chance to make money. I heard your family is from the countryside. You must be very short of money, right? Come to my house to tutor me. How about 1,000 per class? I inconspicuously glanced at the surveillance camera in the corner of the stairs, then lowered my head and said, classmate Lu Rian, thank you for your kindness, but I already have plans for the weekend. On the weekend, I walked out of the school gates. When passing by the grooming mirror, my steps paused. I looked up at myself in the mirror, thin and introverted, pale skin, because the whole face has not much expression. It even looks a bit bland. The biggest advantage of my facial features is the eyes behind the black framed glasses. Of course I can take off my glasses right now to reverse some of the public opinion, but actively changing How can it be as impressive as letting them discover it themselves? I know even if I don't fall for Lu Rian's trap this time, they will come up with new pranks to tease me. With my current abilities, it's impossible to fight against two heaven-born people who cover the sky with one hand. But at least in this life, I have already figured out their routines. Isn't it just acting? Just act. Who doesn't know how to do that? I lowered my eyes and walked towards the flower shop where I usually work part-time. Most of the students at Aeneas Academy are either rich or noble. For a good reputation, the school recruits several students every year. Top students with outstanding grades. Apart from good grades, top students. Another characteristic is being poor. If they were poor, they wouldn't enroll in a noble school where they don't fit in just for the scholarship. As long as I stay in the top 10 of the grade, not only is tuition completely free, I also get a 5,000 yuan scholarship every month. And since I enrolled, I haven't gotten any rank other than first. So I am used to sending the scholarship home, and then working part-time to earn living expenses. Before even entering the flower shop, I heard Aunt Chen's excited voice. Fang Yuan, got a big order today. Her phone screen showed an external delivery order. 9,999 Floyd roses. The person who ordered also specifically noted, wanted the top flower materials from Ecuador. Aunt Chen was glowing with health. This order can make at least a 5-digit profit. In my previous life, Lu Rian, in order to force me to agree to tutor her, easily ruined my part-time job at the flower shop. She spent heavily to pre-order a massive amount of Floyd roses. When Aunt Chen and I ran all over the city overnight to gather enough flowers, all we waited for was a light sentence from Lu Rian. Boring. This lady doesn't want it anymore. The Lu family has immense power. Aunt Chen had nowhere to complain, and had to bear the huge bulk of the deficit for the final payment. She originally opened a shop here to escape her domestic violence husband. After this incident, she closed the flower shop, and helplessly returned to her hometown with her husband. Seeing me in low spirits, Aunt Chen asked in confusion, Fang Yuan, what's wrong? I shook my head. Aunt Chen, this order is not right. Don't be fooled by the money first. Although Aunt Chen hesitated, under my insistence, she temporarily gave up the idea of buying wholesale, and agreed to delay for a while to see. For the following week, I no longer went to the library for self-study, but hid in the dorm as soon as class ended, making it impossible for Lu Rian to even see me. Right as the strategy began, the progress was so worrying. The eldest lady of the Lu family became visibly irritable. As I expected, within a week, she couldn't sit still. On Saturday, Aunt Chen was taking a nap in the storage room, leaving me to watch the shop alone. I had just finished a test paper, and looked up to see a familiar petite figure flash by outside the flower shop door. I immediately realized the time had come. At the same time, Aunt Chen's phone on the cash register vibrated. I answered the phone without hesitation. In less than 10 minutes, a bald man with a beer belly barged into the flower shop aggressively. Bang! He kicked the door open, and asked gruffly, Chen Yan, where's that bitch? Aunt Chen was woken up by the noise, and walked out of the storage room, eyes still heavy with sleep. As soon as she saw the man, she immediately looked terrified. Why are you here? The bald man snorted coldly, stepped forward and was about to pull Aunt Chen's hair. I hurriedly stood in front of Aunt Chen, and questioned loudly, who are you? What do you want to do? The bald man sneered, who am I? I am her man. It's perfectly justified for me to beat my own woman. If you don't get out of the way, I'll beat you together with her. I said loudly with a trembling voice. Domestic violence is illegal. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police. The bald man grinned hideously, and pushed me to the ground with a wave of his hand. I fell awkwardly at the entrance of the flower shop. My glasses were also knocked off. My knee hit the threshold, hurting so much my whole body curled up. I lowered my eyes, but a subtle smile curved at the corner of my mouth. I wouldn't mistake it. The figure outside the flower shop just now was none other than exactly Lu Rian. I know. Lu Rian's live streaming camera is pinned to her collar. That thing is high-end stuff. Whether it is picture quality or sound quality, it's top in the industry. The commotion just now was so big. Whether it's Lu Rian or the students in the live stream, must have seen the scene of Aunt Chen and me being bullied. I know Lu Rian too well. As the little princess of the Lu family, she has always been reckless and lawless. She has been lively and active since childhood, and her strength is greater than that of ordinary girls. Under the bottomless spoiling of the Lu family, she even became the female school bully of Aeneas Academy. Whether it's for the strategy, or out of her impulsive and irritable instinct, she will definitely step forward. This cliché drama of acting courageously for a just cause has already played up to here. Next, it's time for the heroine to appear. Sure enough, the next second, I saw someone step over the threshold, and enter the flower shop. Before everyone could react, Lu Rian had already gotten into a scuffle with the bald man. The bullet screen on the forum was going crazy. Did she just charge in like that? Is there anyone who doesn't know? The little princess of the Lu family is a 9th degree black belt? So badass. Woo. Awesome. Live broadcast. The tip pool has already soared to 1.74 million. Still rising. The ultimate winner is blessed. blessed. Although Lu Rian has learned karate, but the bald man is tall, fat, and bulky. His body is almost twice her thickness. At first, Lu Rian temporarily gained the upper hand using fighting techniques, but later the bald man used his absolute weight advantage, caught a flaw, and pinned Lu Rian beneath him. In the messy flower shop, the bald man with bloodshot eyes pressed down on Lu Rian, strangling her neck tightly. He spat at Lu Rian, muttering and swearing verbally. "Stinky bitch, how dare you pick a fight with me?" Lu Rian's small face turned completely red from being choked, still struggling fiercely. Just 1 second before she was about to completely suffocate, I picked up a glass vase and smashed it hard against the back of the bald man's head. The bald man's body paused, then crashed down. Lu Rian took a few gasps, then gathered her strength for a kick. Kicking away that massive and bulky body, she sat up with an angry face, and suddenly widened her eyes upon seeing the scene before her. In Lu Rian's amber eyes, reflected my backlit silhouette, a handsome young man panting, holding a vase, covered in injuries but still holding on. As soon as she opened her mouth, the vase slipped from my hands, and rolled to the ground, making a crisp sound. I could no longer support my injured legs, and fell down from exhaustion. Lu Rian subconsciously reached out to catch me. When we embraced, I heard in her chest a heartbeat beating fiercely like a drum. The suspension bridge effect refers to when people experience an exciting situation causing an accelerated heartbeat. They might misattribute this physiological response to love. That scene just now was a segment I carefully designed for Lu Rian. The impulsive and proud girl wanted to save people from the fire and water, but was accidentally saved by others at the last moment. Every expression, every movement, I have rehearsed them 10,000 times in my heart. Listening to her rapid heartbeat, I trembled all over with excitement, while Lu Rian clumsily hugged my shoulders. Uncharacteristically awkward, she softly said, "Thank you for just now." Aunt Chen's husband was arrested and taken to the police station for intentional injury. Although the sentencing for domestic violence has always been very light, but the one injured this time was Lu Rian. With the Lu family little princess's vengeful personality for the slightest grievance, the bald man probably won't be coming out anytime soon. Aunt Chen thanked Lu Rian profusely over and over, endlessly praising her as an outstanding modern youth. As the daughter of the school board director, Lu Rian had only ever known how to cause trouble since childhood. When had she ever been praised like this for acting bravely for a just cause? She rubbed the scrape on the bridge of her nose, her cheeks unexpectedly showing 2 suspicious patches of blush. "It's nothing, I originally just came to see Fang Yuan. I didn't expect to run into this kind of thing. No need to thank this young lady. It was just convenient along the way anyway." In order to thank Lu Rian, I voluntarily offered to tutor her on weekends from then on. She was clearly incredibly proud, but still kept her chin up, pretending to be arrogant. "Next Saturday at 3 p.m., come to my private villa. And those broken glasses of yours, if they're broken, don't wear them. They are so ugly." On the weekend, in the study of Lu Rian's private villa, I was actively tutoring her in math. In my past life, right after I agreed to tutor Lu Rian, I discovered the truth about the flower shop going bankrupt. I had a huge fight with her, and the tutoring ended on bad terms. But in this life, I plan to take the tutoring seriously. After a few math problems, the eyes of the Lu family's eldest young lady became completely clear/glazed over, seeing her biting her pen and staring blankly at the first fill-in-the-blank question. I sighed silently. The bullet screens began to glow one after another. The school board director's daughter must regret the tutoring now. Brought it upon herself. Ha ha ha. Can't bear to look. Just now she tried to chat with the honors student several times, but the other party was completely unmoved, focused entirely on explaining the questions. Is it just me who thinks Fang Yuan explains really well? Explaining profound theories in simple language. Even a math failure like me understood it. At the same time, I noticed through the crack in the door, the old butler holding up his phone to record. Although the old butler had tried his best to lower his voice, his excitement was still hard to hide. "Sir, madam, God has opened his eyes. The young lady has actually started studying math." Seeing that Lu Rian's mind had already wandered off to outer space, and was about to fall into a sweet, baby-like sleep for the 3rd time, I said helplessly, "Let's stop here for today." Lu Rian subconsciously agreed with a triple combo. "So that's how it is. I understand. Wait, class is over already?" I nodded and said, "Your foundation is too poor. It's better to proceed step by step." Lu Rian nodded as if relieved of a heavy burden, her face full of the relief of surviving a disaster. Before leaving, I took a Floyd rose out of my backpack. Looking at the rose presented before her, Lu Rian was stunned. "You're giving me a flower?" I nodded without any hesitation. A customer at the flower shop canceled their order, and paid a large penalty fee. "I used the bonus Aunt Chen gave me to buy you a flower. Thank you for helping us last time." Seeing Lu Rian's complex expression, I raised an eyebrow and said, "If you don't want it, forget it." Lu Rian immediately snatched the flower from my hand. She blushed. "Who said I don't want it?" When I walked out of the villa, the sun was already setting in the west. In the afterglow of the setting sun, a figure was riding a horse, galloping on the racecourse outside the villa. Seeing me come out, Bai Ningding pulled the reins, and rode her horse over to me. She had outstanding looks, dressed in a crisp white equestrian outfit, which made her look even even more elegantly beautiful and unworldly. The Bai family wasn't as prominent as the Lu family, and could only be considered new tech money. But Bai Ningding was gentle and polite, knowing exactly how to behave appropriately. All the teachers and students in the school had a very good opinion of her. In my past life, I was deceived by her disguise, and accepted her confession. When Lu Ruiyan told me that this was just a capture strategy game, I was unwilling to believe it at the time, until Bai Ningding admitted it herself. Facing my questioning, Bai Ningding still smiled gently, but the words she spoke were incredibly hurtful. Fan Yuan, I just realized, you actually look a lot like my childhood friend, but he is pure and obedient, not cheap like you. So what if you rank first in the grade every time? You're still just an easy-to-get lower-class commodity. If Lu Ruiyan's cruelty was innocent, then Bai Ningding's was pure malice. At this moment, under the setting sun, Bai Ningding on the horse was looking down at me. Thank you for coming to tutor Lu Ruiyan. I'll have to ask you to bear with her from now on. I raised my head, staring directly and unblinkingly into her beautiful phoenix eyes. Are you trying to say Lu Ruiyan has a bad temper, and is hard to get along with, so that's why I need to bear with her? Bai Ningding was taken aback for a moment, and then quickly chuckled. That's not what I meant. At the same time, the large chestnut horse suddenly snorted, and lowered its head to intimately rub against my palm. Bai Ningding showed surprise and said, Andrew is a Hanoverian warmblood. He has a bad temper. I'd never seen him get this close to a stranger before. He really likes you. I scoffed in my heart. Hanoverian horses have always been known for being calm and docile. How could he possibly have a bad temper? Of course, I understood the meaning of this lie. A straightforward attack rushing headlong like Lu Ruiyan's easily makes people put their guard up, while Bai Ningding is a smart hunter. In the past life, she chose to first use accidental coincidences to lower my guard, then through repeated exposure and contact, step by step deepen my affection for her, ultimately making me voluntarily offer up my first kiss. Seeing me have little reaction, Bai Ningding leaned down slightly, and reached out her hand wrapped in a white leather glove toward me. Student Fan Yuan, do you want to ride together? The beautiful setting sun, the elegant girl, the perfectly set atmosphere. Bai Ningding was certain I wouldn't refuse, but she miscalculated. In the past life, Bai Ningding used the suspension bridge effect while horseback riding to make me feel attraction towards her, and initiated her strategy from there. But now, I lightly glanced at the hand she stretched out to me, and suddenly asked, what's that? Having her rhythm disrupted repeatedly, a flash of impatience crossed Bai Ningding's eyes. She withdrew her hand, followed my gaze, unfastened a brooch decorated with a black iris, and handed it to me. I stared at that black brooch. I knew Bai Ningding's live streaming camera was hidden inside it. Not only did she have many tactics, her tier was also high. Her mindset was even more rock solid. To actually dare to hand it directly to me. The bullet screens were shivering in fear. Why do I feel like he's looking at me through the camera? I'm so scared. No way. The Bai family's camera equipment is state of the art, and the live broadcast forum has blocked him too. So thrilling, sending a carnival gift. Seeing me staring at the iris brooch, Bai Ningding said nonchalantly, do you like it? If you like it, I can give it to you. I looked away, and laughed abruptly. No thanks, I don't like the flower language of the black iris. Bai Ningding insisted on driving me back to school. Actually, the villa wasn't far from the school, only a 10-minute drive. The troublesome part was, there were no direct buses from here to the school. Looking at her sitting in the Lamborghini, the girl in the Revuelto sports car, I said somewhat awkwardly, you are not of age yet. Bai Ningding smiled, took out a driver's license, and waved it. Don't worry, I passed the test abroad. So, student Fan Yuan who ranks first in the grade, I wonder if I have the honor of giving you a ride? On the way back, I kept silently memorizing vocabulary. At this time, the live bullet screens were extraordinarily lively. The new cold joke is really too beautiful. The poor student is also strangely uneducated. Maybe he's pretending to be aloof, playing hard to get. Isn't that how all idol dramas play out? Damn, am I the only one who noticed the incredible engine sound of this supercar? Top-tier sports car, moving like lightning. Before long, the car stopped at the school gate. I wanted to open the door and get out, but found the car door was locked. I frowned and looked at Bai Ningding in the driver's seat, only to hear her ask jokingly, student Fan Yuan, how are you planning to pay the fare? I pulled out 2 crumpled 100 yuan bills from my bag, and handed them to her with a pained expression. Keep the change. Bai Ningding's eyes curved in a smile. Very sincere. Unfortunately, I'm not short of money. I silently confronted her for a few seconds. Suddenly, I tilted my head slightly, and spoke as if somewhat dazed. Have we met somewhere before? Student Bai Ningding, I just realized, you actually look a lot like my childhood sweetheart. The bullet screens were full of booze. Such an old-fashioned pickup line. He doesn't really think that this will make the school beauty look at him differently, does he? Certified as being obsessed with idol dramas. Did no one notice the school beauty hasn't spoken for a while? Bai Ningding's gaze toward me carried a hint of hesitation. I smiled and added, but she is pure and obedient. She certainly wouldn't be like you. Impolitely locking a classmate in the car. After getting out, I stood by the car and smilingly stuffed those 200 yuan through the roll-down window, watching the angry steel beast roar away. The smile on my face gradually faded. In the past life, Bai Ningbing said at our wedding that the groom with a similar smile to mine reminded her of her childhood friend, her first love. The family backgrounds of Bai Ningbing and I were worlds apart. It was absolutely impossible that we were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. So there was only one possibility. Bai Ningbing had a childhood friend when she was young, and I happened to look exactly like him. Since I knew about this in advance, there was no reason for me not to exploit it, so I falsely claimed the title of her childhood friend. Bai Ningbing was meticulous, suspicious and overthinking. For this kind of person, you only need to throw out a vague question, and they will naturally spend effort trying to find the answer. And in this process, she would inevitably become familiar with me. Getting to know me, repeated exposure can increase people's affection for someone. This is called the mere exposure effect in psychology. Developing feelings over time follows the same principle. Speaking of which, I should also thank Bai Ningbing from my past life for teaching me so many tricks. In the following months, things were calm and peaceful. Every day, I was between the classroom, the library, and the cafeteria, a 3-point baseline routine. On weekends, I first went to my part-time job at the flower shop, then went to tutor Lu Ruyan. Every time I went to see Lu Ruyan, I would bring a Floyd rose. Lu Ruyan went from being awkward to gradually getting used to it. I didn't gloss over the teaching because of what happened in my past life. Instead, I patiently and carefully sorted out the knowledge for her. In my past life, because I refused to tutor Lu Ruyan, I was criticized as a stubborn country bumpkin, not sincere at all. Some even, after my grades dropped due to depression, slandered me by saying my previous grades were all obtained by cheating. But this time, I won't leave any vulnerabilities behind. The weather gradually turned cool. Before I knew it, it was winter with shorter days and longer nights. The first semester of my sophomore year was coming to an end, and the final exams were right around the corner. The weekend at the private villa, Lu Ruyan sat properly at the desk. The expression on her small face was uncharacteristically anxious. "How is it?" I put down the red pen used for grading the test. "You scored 63 points on this math test. There's progress. You passed." The old butler, who was prepared nearby, cheered, then pulled a small party popper he got from heaven knows where. Bang! Amidst the sky full of confetti and ribbons, Lu Ruyan pulled me up from the chair. Then holding my hand, she started spinning me around constantly like dancing a waltz. I was startled, and somewhat regretted not reminding her just now that the full score is 150. Seeing this, the old butler quietly backed out, and thoughtfully closed the door behind him. I was spun until I felt dizzy, and lightly knocked Lu Ruyan on the head. "Stop messing around. If you spin another circle, there will be no flower for today." Hearing this, Lu Ruyan stuck out her tongue, stopped what she was doing and played cute. "I was wrong. I shouldn't have teased you. I won't do it next time. Where's my flower? Reward me quickly." I raised my eyebrow and glanced at her, and handed the rose to her. Lu Ruyan took the flower, smiling wickedly. "Fooled you. If you dare next time, I'll hit you." The final exams were approaching. I became increasingly busy. In the library, I was previewing next semester's courses. Suddenly someone nudged my shoulder. Looking up, I saw a round-faced boy with a buzz cut. Blushing, he handed a pink envelope to me, and said, "Fang Yuan, can you help me pass this letter to Bai Ningbing?" I frowned, and didn't take it. This boy was named Wang Yuan. Like me, he was also an honors student admitted on scholarship. In my past life, he was one of the few classmates who didn't participate in the Conquest livestream at all. After I died, he learned the truth, and even wrote a whistleblowing letter for me. Unfortunately, this letter was intercepted by the Bai family just after it was sent out, without making a single ripple. Seeing my silence, Wang Yuan quickly explained, "Every weekend you go for tutoring. It's Bai Ningbing who drops you back. So I wanted to trouble you." I flatly refused. "Sorry, I can't help you." Wang Yuan froze for a moment, with a puzzled expression. "Why? Do you also like Goddess Bai Ningbing?" As soon as these words came out, the surroundings instantly fell quiet. Some bold classmates started stealing glances my way. I quickly scanned the few cameras on the ceiling not far away, then shook my head at Wang Yuan. "Anyway, I just can't." Wang Yuan had a straightforward and kind personality. He definitely couldn't outplay the scheming Bai Ningbing. I didn't want him to follow in the footsteps of my past life, but hindered by the omnipresent livestream cameras, I couldn't tell him the truth. I could only hope he would retreat in the face of difficulties. Wang Yuan stomped his foot, and forcefully stuffed the pink envelope into my hand. "If you don't like Bai Ningbing, then please help me." "Fang Yuan, thank you." Looking at his running figure, I expressionlessly clutched the love letter in my hand. After the love letter incident, Lu Ruyan's attitude towards me suddenly cooled down, compared to usually when she could send me hundreds of messages a day, math problems, memes, and even some meaningless ramblings. But now Lu Ruyan had been constantly silent for a week. My academic workload was heavy, so I was happy for the peace and quiet. Naturally, I didn't think of taking the initiative to find her. If I could see the livestream barrage comments, I would find that the audience had already started lighting lighting candles for me, feeling like this ship is going to sink. Bad ending. What a pity, I just gifted 9 rockets. The school board director's daughter really minds that love letter. Don't defend him, giving flowers to the director's daughter, while being jealous, throwing away the love letter someone else gave the school beauty. Isn't this too timing? What a pity, I was actually starting to ship them together. Saturday afternoon. I arrived at the door of Lou Rian's villa right on time. After pressing the doorbell, no one came to open the door for a long time. I took out my phone to message Lou Rian, but saw the red exclamation mark indicating I had been blocked. I frowned and rang the doorbell again. 10 minutes passed. Still no one came to open the door. Although I wasn't particularly tactful, I also understood this meant I wasn't welcome. I turned around to leave, when suddenly the click of the door opening came from behind. Come in, a cold female voice said. I walked into the villa. Lou Rian's posture was lazily leaning back on the living room sofa, absent-mindedly operating a game controller. I was left hanging right there. A round of the game ended. Lou Rian finally mercifully looked up at me. So you still know to come find me. I thought you were never going to explain things to me. I was a bit confused and said, explain what? I'm here to tutor you. Tutor? Lou Rian sneered. We haven't spoken for so long. I thought the great top student had already forgotten about tutoring me. She casually tossed the controller, got up and grabbed my wrist, aggressively dragging me towards the second floor study. We shoved our way into the study. Lou Rian slammed the door shut with a bang. I stumbled a few steps, and before I even had time to speak, I was forcefully pushed against the desk by Lou Rian. Amidst the mess, my posture was awkward, my lower back pressed against the edge of the desk. Immediately, my anger also flared up, and Lou Rian didn't constrain herself at all. She propped her arms on the desk on both sides of me, gently approaching me. I was pressed into leaning back by her, feeling incredibly irritated. Lou Rian, are you crazy? But the next second, Lou Rian raised her hand and pinched my chin, and unreasonably kissed me. I was startled, and subconsciously slapped her. Slap. The crisp sound of the slap landed. The study returned to silence. Lou Rian slowly turned her face back, tears of disbelief faintly shimmering in her eyes. She questioned word by word, Fang Yuan, tell me, why did you throw away that love letter for Bai Ningbing? I took a deep breath. Lou Rian, ours is a pure employment relationship. I tutor you, and you pay to buy my time and knowledge. Besides math problems, I have no obligation to explain anything to you. Lou Rian stared at me for a long time, suddenly scoffing aloud. Employment relationship? You bring me a Floyd Rose every time you come. Is this an employment relationship? I looked straight into her eyes. As you wish. I didn't bring you a flower this time. Lou Rian narrowed her almond eyes. What? I didn't explain. Only repeating, I didn't bring you a flower this time. Lou Rian, the flower is just a reward. Since you don't want it, then there isn't one this time, and there won't be any in the future. The implication being, she needn't look for me for tutoring afterwards either. Lou Rian refused to give up. She stared intently at me, trying to find on my face any trace of piqued emotion. After finding that my expression remained completely calm, she finally started to sneer. So when it comes down to it, you've always just been doing it for money. It turns out money can buy everything about you, Fang Yuan, right? That's great. I have plenty of money. You honors students might not even be worth as much as those carefully raised horses in my family's manor stable. Slap this slap. I used all my strength. Lou Rian was raised being pampered by her family, and was a little princess who could summon wind and rain at school. When had she ever been unilaterally slapped twice in a row? She hung her head low, her hair messy, her lower lip bitten pale, obviously already on the verge of fury. Just when the atmosphere was on a hair trigger, the study door suddenly sounded, with a knock-knock, and then was opened from the outside. The old butler, covered in cold sweat, holding a plate of cut fruits, tremblingly spoke, Miss, does student Fang want to eat some fruit? I pushed Lou Rian away, picked up my school bag from the ground and walked out. As I walked out of the study, Lou Rian's shrill threat came from behind me, Fang Yuan, you better not regret it after walking out of this door today. My footsteps only paused for a moment, and then I strode straight away. While walking down the stairs, I heard the loud crash of tables and chairs being kicked over on the second floor. At the same time, the bullet comments flew faster than diarrhea. The plot just now was so cliché but so addicting. Subordinate Fang Yuan was really brave just now. Those two slaps, wish wish. I bet my $1 million prize they would kiss today. Damn, is there no tutoring scene today? I even specifically set an alarm. At the villa entrance, Bai Ningbing was leaning against the doorframe, looking at me with curved smiling eyes. What? Fought with Lou Rian? I told you a long time ago to be more tolerant of her. Her collar was completely empty, not wearing that black iris collar pin hiding a camera. I wasn't planning on paying attention to her schadenfreude, but Bai Ningbing reached out to stop me, saying, don't you have a pure and obedient little childhood sweetheart? Why are you provoking other people? Half-hearted boys will be punished. At this moment, I finally noticed the unusual tone in her voice. A speculation suddenly welled up in my heart. I stared at her. You arranged Wang Yuan's love letter. Guess right. Bai Ningbing clapped her hands lightly, her eyes sparkling with surprise. She looked excited, as if playing the most interesting game in the world. I know that boy likes likes me. I found someone to hint to him that he could deliver the love letter to me through you. It was very easy. After all, you are the special honors student who hangs out with us the most, aren't you? I was almost so angry that I laughed. So what is your goal? Just to make Lu Rian hate me? At this moment, Bai Ningbing tilted her head, slowly and deliberately toying with the ruby ring on her finger. I want you to tell me all the stories about you and your childhood sweetheart. For example, did you come to Enia's Academy because of him? She was forcing me to prove my identity. My expression remained unchanged. I am not in a good mood today. I don't want to answer. Please bear with me. Bai Ningbing smiled softly again. Okay, but I believe that one day you will get on your knees and beg me to tell me the answer. On the campus forum, Bai Ningbing's live broadcast screen remained black. Everyone gathered at Lu Rian's live broadcast. Advanced technology is great. I can't believe I get to watch the proud little princess's live stream in my lifetime. Those taking her side dared to speak up. I really don't understand why so many people suck up to the Lu family's princess. Even my Samoyed is more humane than her. It's good that it's over. A poor student like Fang Yuan wants to reach the sky in one step through marriage. The Lu couple wouldn't agree, right? The person above stopped spreading rumors. The family head and his wife like student Fang Yuan very much. Everyone was shocked by the level of Lu Rian's anger, sighing and mocking me at the same time. They guessed that this hunting live broadcast would very soon be due to Lu Rian's disgust towards me and completely come to an end. And at this time, I just returned to the dormitory. I calmed my mind, reopened my preview notes, forcing myself to continue studying the new week. Lu Rian and I continued our Cold War. I am the discipline committee member on duty this week, responsible for organizing this semester's swimming test. After the test ended, I was about to close the doors of the swimming pool when I suddenly heard a burst of laughter from inside. I hesitated for a moment and reopened the door. Inside the swimming pool, several students gathered by the pool. There were boys and girls among them, but all were exquisitely dressed, obviously either rich or noble. And in the pool, the round-faced boy was shivering and diving into the water over and over again, as if searching for something. The leading boy on the shore sneered. Wang Yuan, fish it up faster for me. This watch is worth millions on the market. If you can't fish it up, you'll have to pay for it. Because the swimming test had ended, the heating program for the indoor heated pool had stopped. In the icy water, Wang Yuan hugged his arms, his face pale. Student Yu Hao, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Yu Hao interrupted him with a sneer. I told you to fish it up, so fish it up. Didn't you try everything to cling to Goddess Ningbing? Since you like being a lapdog so much, then this young master will give you a chance. Yu Hao likes Bai Ningbing. This is almost an open secret. It was not unusual for him to make things difficult for Wang Yuan. Wang Yuan had no choice but to dive into the bone-chilling water again, hoping to fish out that watch. To make this group of people let him go. Watching the scene, I clenched my fists. This academy is full of untouchable young masters and young ladies. They can arbitrarily decide other students, and even teachers' futures. Maybe at this moment I should just turn around and leave. After all, Wang Yuan has nothing to do with me. I can hardly protect myself. Helping him intercept that love letter at the time was already considered doing my utmost. But looking at Wang Yuan's face turning blue with cold, I thought of the scene right before my death in my previous life. At that time, my scholarship was cancelled. My school card was in arrears. A single penny can stump a hero. No one was willing to lend me money. I had to often go out of school to work part-time, relying on 2 steamed buns to satisfy my hunger every day. That day, after barely completing the swimming test, I received a phone call and learned the news of my parents' deaths. I hid in the locker room and cried until I lost my voice for the first time. As I cried bitterly, I told myself to hold on. Even if fate is playing tricks, even if the rain of arrows of suffering shot at me is enough to block out the sun, I will continue to fight in the shadows. I will not surrender. I want to live on. When leaving the swimming pool, I suddenly saw a shiny coin by the pool. I turned back to pick it up, but slipped and fell into the winter swimming pool. Although I am an excellent swimmer, at that time, I was suffering from both hunger and cold, and completely exhausted. In the final moment before drowning, I still desperately reached out my hand towards the surface of the water, yearning for a glimmer of hope. At this moment, Wang Yuan is still diving down, searching for the watch, and I nonchalantly took out my phone and sent Bai Ningbing a location. A reply quickly came back. Are you ready to come kneel and beg me? I ignored it, but placed the phone on a nearby chair instead, then raised my voice and said to the group by the pool, if you need to retrieve something, you can ask the pool manager to drain the water. There's no need to torture people like this. To drain the water, you have to let the person in the water come up first. Just as Wang Yuan climbed out of the pool, Yu Hao suddenly raised his hand and pointed at me. Hold him down. Several lackeys immediately leaned over, twisted my arms behind my back, and dragged me in front of Yu Hao. I knew I couldn't resist. The only thing I could do was buy time, so I didn't make any unnecessary struggles. Yu Hao grabbed the hair on the back of my head, forcing me to look up. He examined me for a moment, then sneered, you don't look that handsome, do you? A poor student who still offends people. You can't afford to offend. Where did you get the nerve to stand up for others? Someone came up to smooth things over. There's no need no need. Hitting him would only dirty Brother Hao's hands. Yu Yu Hao deeply agreed. So he turned to Wang Yuan and said, Wang Yuan, come over here now. Give him 2 slaps, and the matter with that watch will be written off. Wang Yuan looked at him in shock, mouth open, unable to process anything. Hearing such a disgusting trick, I narrowed my eyes in disbelief. Yu Yu Hao but became even more excited. He added another condition: if you can make him cry from the beating, beat him until he cries for his mom and dad, then we will never trouble you at school again. Wang Yuan was pushed in front of me. He was shaking like a leaf, shaking even worse than when he was soaking in the icy water. Our eyes met. Then I heard his crying voice, Fang Yuan, I'm sorry. Slap! Immediately following, a slap landed on my face. Yu Yu Hao burst into laughter. There is one more slap. Don't play tricks. Hit him hard for me. Slap! Another slap. My head was knocked to the side, and my newly prescribed glasses fell to the ground. Yu Yu Hao wrenched my face back, saying with slight regret, what to do? He didn't cry. He tilted his head and smiled at Wang Yuan again. I'll give you another chance. Push him into the pool. The reward is the same. Wang Yuan looked at me, his eyes cowering. Yu Yu Hao urged sharply, why aren't you making a move? Do you still want to go down to retrieve the watch? So I watched Wang Yuan, his face covered in tears, take a step forward, raise his hands, and shove me right into the pool. Yu Yu Hao was fully satisfied, and let Wang Yuan leave the swimming pool. The depth of the swimming pool is 2 meters. I need to tread water constantly to keep my mouth and nose above the surface. In the bone-chilling water, I heard Yu Yu Hao issue an order, since Wang Yuan is gone, then you can replace him and dive for that watch. I did not comply, but just stared at him expressionlessly. Someone sneered, still quite arrogant. They brought over chairs, and sat down leisurely by the pool. If you don't fish up the watch, don't even think about coming ashore. They talked and laughed merrily on the shore, while my body was gradually losing heat. By dragging this on, I would definitely be the first one to give out. I could not just sit and wait for death. So under everyone's gaze, I closed my eyes, and slowly sank into the water. This action was very abrupt, because it was closing time. Only one light was on by the pool. I knew that under such dim lighting, the people on the shore could absolutely not accurately pinpoint the exact location of underwater objects. In the icy water, I heard the laughter and chatter on the shore abruptly stop, followed by Yu Yu Hao's sneer. I really want to see how long he can hold his breath. Half a minute, Yu Yu Hao didn't take it seriously. What could happen? During his swimming test, could he actually drown? 1 minute, Yu Yu Hao stood up, yelling fiercely but cowardly at the poolside, Fang Yuan, I order you to come out. Did you hear me? 1.5 minutes. The people on the shore panicked completely. Amidst the commotion, I heard someone lower their voice. Let's not mention anything else. That live broadcast hasn't stopped. If those 2 young ladies haven't had enough fun, wouldn't we be? Yu Yu Hao roared in a breakdown. This is not my fault. I just wanted to teach him a lesson. And I, lurking underwater, under the cover of the dim lights in the swimming pool, slowly moved towards the edge. Through the distorted water ripples, I identified the people on the shore, preparing to take action when the opportunity arises, just randomly pulling a few people down to soak in the cold water with me. Before I had chosen, a loud crash of someone diving into the water suddenly echoed in my ears. A figure plunged into the water abruptly. The churning water stirred up countless tiny bubbles. Before I could fully react, the figure quickly swam toward me, grabbed my hand tightly, and led me to swim toward the surface. A splash of breaking water sounded. Lu Rian and I emerged from the water one after the other. As soon as we were out of the water, Lu Rian immediately moved close to me, pressing her whole body against mine, probing to feel for my breathing. I pushed her hand away, and coughed a few times. I'm fine. Water droplets rolled down from my hair across my face, like icy teardrops. You scared me to death. Lu Rian held me. I pushed her hand away, my fingers trembling slightly. Your hands are frozen without any warmth. I got goosebumps all over my body, and pulled my hand back forcefully. Before I could pull my hand back, I heard footsteps approaching from far to near. I looked up and saw the person arriving was actually Bai Ningding. She came late. At the same time, Lu Rian raised her eyes and swept a glance over Yu Yu Hao and the others. Although Lu Rian was completely drenched, her entire body still exuded a sharp, overbearing sense of oppression. Under her gaze, Yu Yu Hao and the others cowered, and lowered their heads. Lu Rian's eyes finally fixed on Bai Ningding, and she spoke coldly, Bai Ningding, control your dogs. After Bai Ningding left the swimming pool with the others, Lu Rian looked at me again. She pressed the palm of my hand against her cheek, her voice sounding somewhat aggrieved. If I don't reach out to you first, will you never come looking for me? I pushed Lu Rian a bit. Let go of me. I need to go change my clothes. The winter uniform has some thickness. Once wet, it became cold and stifling. Yet she refused to let go. Lu Rian's voice, because of the nasal tone, sounded somewhat coquettish. I took a history class today. I cursed crazy under my breath, but had to continue listening to her going crazy. She said the teacher talked about the drastic changes in Eastern Europe and the collapse of the Soviet Union. So what? He said the Cold War ended. She hugged my arm. tightening her grip quietly. Fang Yuan, the Cold War has ended. Let's make up. Changing into dry clothes, I focused my attention and looked at the time, then stepped out of the swimming pool area. Lu Rian and Bai Ningding were both waiting for me at the front door. To be honest, I didn't expect Lu Rian to come. I just found out it was Wang Yuan, who immediately went to find Lu Rian, begging her to come save me. Thinking of Wang Yuan completely drenched at that time, the miserable silhouette of him running out of the swimming pool, I lowered my eyes, spacing out slightly. Wang Yuan could be coaxed into pushing me into the pool, but would also do his utmost to seek help for me after getting out of trouble. So I don't really blame him. But if I can forgive Wang Yuan, shouldn't I also forgive Lu Rian and Bai Ningding? At this moment, Lu Rian saw me. She walked over and stood on tiptoe, wrapping a scarf around my neck. Bai Ningding beside her also asked softly, "Do you want to go to the school clinic for a checkup?" I looked at them, my eyes suddenly turning slightly red. Lu Rian was momentarily at a loss for what to do, saying, "What is this about now?" I looked at them very seriously, and said softly, "Thank you. I didn't expect you would actually rush over to save me. I know I am a student from the countryside, dull and unsophisticated, completely out of place with you all. Actually, I have always been very afraid of you guys mocking me, disliking me, and looking down on me. But why exactly do you treat me so well?" Hearing this, Lu Rian stood frozen in place, her expression blank for a moment, and I lowered my head, placing a shy and gentle kiss on her cheek. After a moment of silence, the live chat went crazy. He kissed her, he kissed her. I've memorized the date. The exact time is 1923. After following this stream for most of the semester, I actually don't dislike the honors student that much anymore. He isn't stringing two girls along, is he? Just afraid that the round-faced boy would be bullied over the love letter. Fang Yuan is actually quite a nice person. When he enrolled in his freshman year, he brought local specialties for his classmates, but everyone despised it and refused to eat it. He never brought them again after that. I wonder how the school board director's daughter and the campus belle feel right now. Will they regret using Fang Yuan for a bet? Seriously, doesn't anyone think this strategy live stream and that lecturer are really going too far? At this moment, the scales of public opinion finally tilted completely in my favor. Lu Rian was stunned for a long time, before throwing herself blushingly into my arms. She said somewhat awkwardly, "You were always very good. No one will treat you badly. And how come you are so cheesy? So annoying." I buried my face in Lu Rian's hair, feigning embarrassment, but the corners of my mouth uncontrollably rose high. I finally waited for it. The forgiveness and gratitude in this act are nothing but a disguise. A fledgling victim, the only thing they can occupy. As higher ground is the moral high ground, they approach me with malice, trying to tempt me to make a fool of myself, and then break my proud backbone, letting me be covered in mud. Then I will insist on making them see me with their own eyes, clear to the bottom, an unobstructed soul. I want everyone to see their belly full of malice, exchanged for my flawless sincerity. When the moment the truth is revealed arrives, who will be the ones fully exposing their ugliness? And who will become the biggest joke? I almost can't wait. With a smile, I finished my ginger tea, and lay down on the hospital bed to feign sleep. Just as I was about to drift into dreamland, I heard the footsteps of two people coming from outside the curtains of the hospital bed. Someone carefully pulled open the curtains. I heard Lu Rian whispering, "Shoo, he's asleep." Bai Ningding replied softly, "Yeah." Someone's palm covered my forehead, seeing that I didn't have a fever. Both of them retreated outside the curtains. I felt a bit awkward pretending to sleep, and was just about to pretend to leisurely wake up, when I suddenly heard Lu Rian whisper, "Ningding, I don't want to continue that bet. I've already terminated the live stream on the forum. As for the tipped reward money, it was me who first froze this micro live camera. I return it to you." Bai Ningding fell silent for a moment. "Have you fallen for him?" Lu Rian admitted it bluntly. "After final exams is the Ineos anniversary ball. I plan to confess to Fang Yuan at the ball." Bai Ningding's voice trembled imperceptibly. "Then what if he doesn't accept?" Lu Rian didn't care. She said with a confident tone, "Fang Yuan already kissed me. I am so beautiful, and my family background is top-notch. Besides, I will treat him very well later." Bai Ningding interrupted her. "But what if Fang Yuan, he already belongs to someone else?" Hearing this, Lu Rian's voice suddenly turned cold. "Bai Ningding, I know you were investigating Fang Yuan's past earlier. No matter what you dug up, this matter ends here. Let the things that shouldn't be said rot in your stomach. In exchange, that project in West City, the Bai family can start preparing for it." After finishing the final exam of the last subject, I walked out of the examination room. In the corridor, Lu Rian was waiting for me. Seeing me come out, she panicked a little, and hastily shoved the repeatedly altered sketch into her pocket. Then she walked up with a smile. Before I could speak, the girl started pouring out words. Like spilling beans, I did all the math questions I knew how to do. For the big questions I couldn't do, I wrote solve, and even copied them over once. I'll definitely pass the test. Lu Rian's eyes shone brightly, saying, you said before that if I passed math in the finals, you would grant me a wish. Does this still count? Seeing me nod, she giggled. Then I want you to come back to the villa with me. Today I finally managed to invite my dad's styling consultant over. Consider yourself lucky. In the afternoon, Lu Rian handed me over to the styling consultant, but ran away with a blushing face, saying she wanted to keep the suspense for the ball tonight. Makeup and changing clothes. I was tossed about for an entire afternoon. Then the old butler drove and dropped me off at the entrance of the auditorium where the ball was held. Tonight's first snow happened to fall when I stepped out of the car in a custom-made suit. The bell on the auditorium's bell tower rang. 7 p.m. The ball begins. Everything was just perfect, as if destined. I ignored the stunned gazes around me and just walked up the steps, heading towards the auditorium. At the solemn and classical entrance of the auditorium, I saw Bai Ningbing in an ink-black evening gown. She held a glass of champagne in one hand, looked at me with a smile, and said, you look very different tonight. I replied, thank you. Bai Ningbing seemed to have drunk quite a bit. Her breath was slightly labored, and her cheeks were flushed. She stared at me, and abruptly said, I'm sorry. I paused, my expression puzzled, asking, why apologize? Bai Ningbing whispered, for everything. I gazed at Bai Ningbing for a long time, until she somewhat awkwardly averted her gaze. I then let out a soft laugh. I said, Bai Ningbing, you have nothing to be sorry about to me. For that time at the swimming pool, I sent you the location, and you also hurried there, right away, didn't you? As for those things you said to me before, I know you just wanted to scare me, and ask me for an answer. Bai Ningbing shook her head sadly. This answer has long lost its meaning. Go in, she has prepared a surprise for you. She stepped aside to make way, leading me into the auditorium. As I brushed past her, I secretly pinched myself hard twice. My cheeks instantly flushed with a slight redress. I smiled shyly, and whispered to Bai Ningbing, you asked me if I came to Ineos Academy because of that person. I want to tell you, at least, I used to. True words in this world are rare to begin with, but a boy's blush surpasses a long confession. After saying that, I didn't hesitate to turn away and leave. Behind me, someone whispered in alarm, Goddess Bai Ningbing, did you not hold your champagne steady? As I walked into the auditorium, the lights slowly dimmed. Amidst everyone's gasps of surprise, lights lit up on the auditorium stage. Lu Rian in a pearl-white Holling custom-made dress, with a sparkling rose brooch pinned to her chest, appeared on the stage. Her bangs were brushed back solemnly. Looking dignified and noble, Lu Rian took the standing microphone. Her voice was soft. Recently, I often dream about a person. Him when studying hard. Him acting as a hero saving the beauty. Even him frowning when annoyed by me while explaining problems. Everything about him deeply attracts me, making me involuntarily fall for him. The passionate love in her words caused the audience to stir up one after another, and some even covered their mouths, moved. At the same time, several spotlights were simultaneously cast on me. Across the crowd, Lu Rian stared at me. The Floyd Rose's flower language is you casually shuttle through my dreams, turning my heart into a fragrant garden. You have lingered in my dreams for too long. Could I please ask you to come to my side now? Fan Yuan, I like you. Will you be my boyfriend? At the same time, rose petals fluttered down from the sky, intertwining into a beautiful dream like a bubble. The classmates' envious or encouraging gazes urging me to agree to her right away. Under the spotlights, I blinked my eyes, and somewhat nervously opened my mouth to say, BZZZT. Before my words could come out, a piercing static sound suddenly echoed throughout the entire auditorium. At the same time, the giant screens on the four walls of the ballroom auditorium began to flash with recorded videos. First act, staircase corner. Lu Rian, looking at my retreating back, scowled and snorted impatiently in annoyance. This country bumpkin won't agree to tutor me. How am I supposed to conquer him? Wait until this lady goes and ruins his part-time job. Let's see if he still dares to refuse me. The screen transitioned. Second act. Lu Rian played with a Floyd rose, her tone excited and frivolous. He gave me flowers. Just you wait and see. I'll have him down in 3 days. The screen transitioned again. Third act. Fan Yuan, after you step out of this door today, don't regret it. The screen shook unceasingly. It was the person recording smashing things in a furious rage. What does he think he is? Daring to show attitude to this lady. A low-class piece of trash who switches sides at the drop of a hat. Once I get my hands on him, win the bet. If I don't toy with him until he's broken, my last name isn't Lee. Rapidly flashing images, malicious words, unbearable bullet comments. Under everyone's gaze, my face gradually turned pale, and Lu Rian on the stage, after a moment of shock, started to yell furiously in a shrill voice, turn it off. Turn it off for me. But all her anger dissipated the moment she saw the self-deprecating smile on my face, and scattered instantly. Lu Rian's expression went blank for a second. Then she strode towards me. Fan Yuan, it's not what you see. I can explain. I took a half step back. Don't come closer. One gesture explained everything. At the same time, Bai Ningding stepped out from the crowd and blocked the way in front of me. She gathered her dress by the hem, gracefully and elegantly. Lu Ruyan, he told you not to come closer. Lu Ruyan looked at her. Her expression darkened little by little. Was it you? Are you the one behind these live recordings? Right? Bai Ningding didn't answer. Instead, she emphasized again, Lu Ruyan, he rejected you. This time responding to her was a slap from Lu Ruyan. Amidst the gasps of everyone, Lu Ruyan knocked Bai Ningding to the ground. Friends for so many years. You clearly know how much I like him. Bai Ningding covered her swollen face, fallen messily on her back onto the carpet, yet wearing a smile on her lips. But you also know, as long as I speak about that matter. Lu Ruyan violently pulled Bai Ningding's hair. Shut up. Her tone was cold and grim, and with a fierce expression she said, Bai Ningding, your family has so many illegitimate children. If I fall out with the Bai family, you will be immediately chased out of the position as the Bai family's heir. Expelled. While they were at each other's throats, the video on the 4 big screens was still playing continuously. The screen turned into a vote collection interface. In the background sounded Lu Ruyan's originally excited voice. Ningding, let's make a live broadcast prize pool. All the tips from the strategy livestream will go into this prize pool. Everyone can place a bet. Let's bet on exactly when that country bumpkin will give up his first kiss. At the same time, a massive prize pool appeared on the screen, with accumulated funds reaching 5 million. The names of everyone who participated in this live stream betting game felt like a grand public execution. The auditorium was pin drop silent, so quiet you could almost hear a pin drop. At this moment, Bai Ningding's smile finally froze. She muttered to herself, I didn't do this part. The winning bet time appeared on the screen, 1923, and suppressed whispers came from the crowd. Someone breathed a long sigh of relief. This is too embarrassing. Thankfully, I didn't place a bet at the time. Someone found it unbelievable. This is a bit terrifying. This time, not a fraction of a second off. Whose vote is this? At the same time, the final suspense was revealed. The winner's name appeared on the screen. Fan Yuan, my name. Countless gazes were cast upon me, and standing under the spotlight, I finally revealed a heartfelt smile. While Lu Ruyan and Bai Ningding's faces turned ashen, they looked at me in disbelief. I smiled and nodded gently to them. Be a good loser. Remember to transfer the prize money to my bank card. After saying that, I turned around without any wavering, and turned to leave the auditorium. Dormitory. I snuggled in the warm and comfortable blanket, looking at the text message of the 5 million arriving in my account, feeling peace of mind for the first time since my rebirth. Outside the window, there was not only the sound of falling snow, but also a faint, lingering fragrance of roses. I knew that currently, downstairs of the dormitory, Lu Ruyan was sitting in the convertible sports car filled with Floyd roses, bitterly waiting for my appearance. She cried until her voice went hoarse, from apologizing to repenting, even swearing and making oaths to never do it again. And I dug out her number, which I had just blocked, and sent 2 words over, very noisy. A few seconds later, the world finally quieted down. 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, the snow fell heavier and heavier. I couldn't sleep, and simply studied my lessons in advance, yet suddenly saw a gorgeous firework explode outside the window. Lu Ruyan stopped shouting, and instead stubbornly kept setting off fireworks one by one. I drew the curtains, put on earplugs, turned off the lights, and went to sleep. I don't know how long I slept, but I was suddenly awakened by violent knocking on the door. I took off my earplugs, and immediately heard a commotion downstairs at the dorm. A girl fainted. Ambulance, quick, call an ambulance. A private ward in the hospital. Bai Ningding and I sat together by Lu Ruyan's hospital bed. Glancing at the unconscious Lu Ruyan on the bed, Bai Ningding suddenly spoke up. Fan Yuan, I have thought about it for a long time. Even if I lose the identity as the Bai family's heir, I still want to tell you. I cut off her confession without any mercy. You guys are really strange. Looking at this beautiful girl in front of me, I asked the question that had always puzzled me. You clearly haven't even learned the simplest form of respect. Why? Can you guys stand in front of me so high-soundingly, and fake an appearance of having a soft spot just for me? Bai Ningding's face instantly completely lost all color, and the air was silent for a long time. I was just getting up to go out and pour a glass of water, when my sleeve was suddenly tugged by someone. I turned my head to see Lu Ruyan on the hospital bed. Although her eyes were still closed, her eyelids were slightly flush red. She was awake, stubbornly gripping my sleeve. She whispered, "Don't leave, okay?" I pulled her hand off, tucked it back into the blanket, and said lightly, "Seeking forgiveness from others by hurting yourself is really stupid." At this time, the ward door was pushed open from the outside. The old butler led an elegantly dressed middle-aged couple. To walk in, it was Lu's parents. Father Lu looked at the miserable Lu Ruyan on the bed, almost trembling with anger. "You, look at how worthless you make yourself look. Are you trying to scare me and your mother to death?" Mother Lu at least concealed the anxiety anxiety on her face. She lovingly touched the top of Lu Rian's hair, then turned to look at me. You must be Fong Yuan, right? Are you willing to talk with Yi? Seeing me nod, Lu Rian struggled to get up from the hospital bed. Her eye rims were completely red, trembling as she grabbed Mother Lu's hand. Mom, help me persuade him, please. I have never liked a boy this much before. Mom, I'm begging you. The hospital's VIP room. Mother Lu gracefully handed me a cup of tea, saying, Fong Yuan, everything. My husband and I already know. The live stream incident was Rian and them acting far too absurd. Your reputation was ruined. The Lu family will take responsibility. As compensation, Mother Lu gave me two options. As she sipped her tea, she looked at me gently. Many people say, true romantic fools are only born in extremely rich and noble families. Although this statement is somewhat biased, it is not entirely unreasonable. Rian has been well protected since childhood. She might be arrogant and unruly, but her nature isn't bad. Mother Lu observed my expression, weighing her words as she said, the first option. The Lu family will send both of you abroad to study together. You don't need to worry about the expenses. And after graduation, if both of you are willing, you can get married. I have to admit that Mother Lu is very smart. With Lu Rian's personality, forcibly separating us would only make her more stubborn out of rebellion, so she wanted me to stay by Lu Rian's side, to take things slowly. Because of this, she even offered what she thought were extremely tempting conditions. Overcoming social classes via marriage. I was extremely moved, and then quickly asked, then what about the second option? Mother Lu paused. You don't like Rian? Hearing this question, I lowered my eyes. After a long time, did I softly reply, maybe, but I will never be with someone who has deceived me. Mother Lu fell silent for a moment, then, like a gentle elder, patted my head. Who would have thought it, that this is a romantic conquest, and broadcasted live the entire time. Just listen to Auntie's advice. Stay by Rian's side. Even if you leave now, this hunt won't end. Young people who don't understand love and hate, once obsessed in their hearts, will frantically chase after you for the rest of their lives. With deep gazes, we can't control our children for a lifetime. A number of years later, when their wings gradually mature, and they have grasped all the authorities, when they catch you at that time, are you sure you can handle all the backlash back then? I put down the tea that had grown cold in my hands, and calmly looked at Mother Lu. Auntie, you forgot one thing. A number of years later, when they find me, I will no longer be the me of today. I will become stronger. Stronger than all of them. Eventually, Mother Lu agreed to bear the breach of contract penalty for my transfer, and used her connections to send me and my family secretly to a small southern city. Before her departure, she zipped up my jacket for me. Good boy, Auntie promises you one thing. Before your 20th birthday, no one will be able to find you. When I left the hospital, the snow was still falling. I did not nostalgically yearn for the warmth behind me, but peacefully walked into the dark night where the wind and snow howled. Between heaven and earth, there was only the wind blowing and snow moving, falling all over my head. I didn't know how long I walked. I just felt the wind and snow gradually lessening. When I looked up again, I saw the sunrise in the east, with its rays shining brilliantly in all directions.